You're not on the phone. Hey, we live? Are we on the air? Is anybody watching? If you are, I want you to go ahead and put your name and what city and state you are hailing from or coming in from as we get started. It is what, 2 days before Christmas? Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. So, I'm Dr. Deidre Cotton. You already know who I am. I'm your better life coach and your cheerleader. Okay. Cheering you on to live your better life. And living a better life is not a destination, it is a journey, it is a process, it is evolution, right? There's a starting point, and then there's these steps of getting better. And then once you get better in a space, then there's always room to get better. So we're super excited about the fact that we're getting better together. And with that word being said, I want to introduce my counterpart or have him introduce himself, as we're going to do a mother son talk on tonight and with you all. So we're not in the living room space. We're in our mock green room, as you can see. And but we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel like this is a place where you talk, where you can open up, where you can feel like you're free to talk to your sister, your cousin, your brother, your family. Okay. And so we are a better life community, and we are family, and this is Better Together Talks. So go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yeah, just as my mom said, I'm her youngest son, Josiah Cotton. Yeah, I'm just born and raised in Macon, Georgia. Well, not born in Georgia, but raised in Georgia. Went to school at Sanford University and Stephen F. Austin State, where I got my master's there. Played some football in college, and now I'm working at in Chicago with campus outreach, just being a college minister, just ministering to college students and college athletes in Chicago, and just helping them with their walk with Christ.
Awesome. So we've been talking about worshiping in the winter for the last couple of sessions. Worship in the winter. And we talked about that winter season being that season that's like that cold season, and not cold like chilly cold, but cold like maybe there's some people, some friends, or some places that you don't go to anymore or don't embrace you anymore, right? Um, it's a time of hibernation. It's a time of where people are tending to isolate. It gets darker sooner. And so in some areas, we are feeling like we're in the darkness. We don't know which way to go. We don't really know what God is doing. We can't really see clearly even in this season. And so there's so many different things about that winter season. Grief comes up in that winter season, depression, despair, hopelessness, lack of faith. Even our walk with the Lord might even start becoming a little more dry or not as exciting, right? Things in the winter is not as exciting as it is in the summer. People are taking vacations in the summer. People are ready to go to the beach in the summer. People are ready to get all ready for the bikinis and the shorts and the small dresses and the barbecues and the vacation times and the cruises and all of that. But in the winter, people are settling down more. People are trying to find a place to get warm. People are trying to find that place in that space where they can find themselves, because things stop growing seemingly. Things stop growing in the winter season. The leaves have fallen off. The plants are dying off because of the frost. The vegetation is going away because of the cold, right? And the chill factor. And so we don't have the grass, and we don't have the green trees, and we don't have the leaves and the buds and the flowers. And the green grass is not growing all around and around, and the green grass is not growing all around, right? We don't see the butterflies and we don't see the bumblebees. And we just don't see that busyness of the spring and the summer in the winter. And so, with that being said, I want to talk with Josiah from having a younger person's perspective about the winter season in their lives. He's also coming from a Christian standpoint as a young man and what winter might look like for a young adult. Our winters might be we can't pay our bills, we don't like the job that we've been on for the last 30 and 40 years, or our marriage is not going well and we're looking about maybe possibly getting a divorce or maybe went through a divorce, or as we get older we experience more death right around us. Our parents are no longer with us because they have died, because they've gotten older. And so our younger generation may see the winter season a little different because they haven't experienced those that many of those things already, right? Being on a job for the last 30 something years that you are absolutely tired and over, or being in a marriage that just didn't work out after 30 or 20 something years, or having bills that have fallen behind because you're part of the government shutdown, or all of the different things that bring, or experience the fact that you don't have your mom or your dad in your life anymore because now you're in your 50s and your 60s, and now you've lost your parents, right? You've lost a lot of people from your life because they've gotten older with you, and they death is a lot more there for you. And so with that being said, Josiah, talk to me and us about, as a young person and you're working on a college campus, what is like a winter, because you heard me kind of explain our analogy of what winter is like and what winter does to the psyche. What is it like possibly, and I know you can't speak for all youth or young people, young adults, but maybe you can speak from your own experience, perspective, or even maybe not just this winter season, maybe when this end of the year comes up, how are you feeling or navigating through it?
Yeah, so just touching base with a winter season, maybe for young adults. That's not everybody's case, but maybe one could be like heartbreak. One could
Mm,
be maybe not getting that internship or getting, especially if they're in college, maybe not getting that internship, maybe not getting that position when it comes to like sports or anything like that. So I wouldn't say to the gravity, maybe even death too. Maybe people losing their grandparents,
yeah,
losing
yeah,
cousins and stuff like that.
yeah.
So death can be a part of that as well. But I think in the winter seasons, it just helps you grow and mold you, to the person God wanted you to be. I think those times aren't never wasted. Do they suck? I think so for sure. But those winter seasons aren't wasted. That's why people sometimes even collect like some squirrels. They normally got to bury their acorns or anything like that. So when the springtime comes around, they can come back and eat it and everything like that. So I think when it comes to the winter season, though, it does take a toll mentally. I think in my experience, it has taken a toll mentally, and some experiences in my life has caused me to sometimes either put a guard up or take more time to open up to people, or just to try to do things alone, like you said, try to do that solitude walk, which in some cases is good to be on your solitude walk, but not for too long. I'd be telling some of my students, is like Jesus did go to the Father after he would like perform a miracle, or when he would preach to crowds, he would go off to himself for a little bit. But then even Jesus had at least 12 homeboys he would hang around with for on a daily basis. So community is always good, especially during the winter seasons, because it can get lonely, and then your thoughts are the ones that controlling your mind and your spaces, and sometimes that can be dangerous because then you start putting negativity or doubt or whatever it may be, pride, envy, greed, whatever it may be, it can start creeping into your mind and then taking over your body and stuff. So I think the winter season is needed for sure, because everything is seasonal and every season has its reasons, and it's needed. So yeah.
Okay. I like it. So today, when I was preparing for this lesson and I was really kind of praying about it, I not only heard the Holy Spirit say worship in the winter, but I also heard him say now worship while waiting, right? So the winter season is like we're waiting for, we're waiting for the spring, or we're waiting for um the summertime, or whatever we're waiting on, right? But then, how do I worship while I'm waiting, especially when what I'm waiting for seems like it might not happen, or maybe it's taking too long. Maybe I'm just getting weary in it. Maybe I'm just not feeling it. I'm not liking the direction it's going in, or I'm waiting for God to change it, or I'm waiting for God to move me or move it, or move, period. Okay, what the heck? And then it's like, okay, I don't even know what to say while I'm trying to talk about it, because it's like, do I tell God, oh, I love you, I praise you, I worship you, I adore you, I live for you, but yet something inside of me is like, I think there's more. I'm waiting on something. I was looking for it to happen. It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. Or, I'm waiting to see what God's going to do. I'm in this place of limbo. I'm in this place of not knowing. I'm in this place of misunderstanding. What is it I'm supposed to be learning? What am I supposed to be getting out of this? So help, 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 help. Somebody help me figure out, how do I keep worshiping when my waiting has been, I'm thinking about a story in the Bible right now where it said this woman who had an issue of blood, right? She's hemorrhaging, she's bleeding, she's isolated now because it says that she's unclean. She's not supposed to be in society, she's not supposed to be in the community, she's not supposed to be with friends, she can't touch nobody. It's almost like she's a leper, right? And but it says she was dealing with this thing for freaking 12 ha, long years. What the world? What the world? Who in the heck? So I'm saying some things we could pray about it. We could ask God, hey, when is winter going to end? We know winter's going to end. There's a set time where it says, and now it's spring, right? It's on your calendar and it goes, now it's the springtime or whatever. And the summer, today is the first day of the summer. But sometimes in your life, I'm talking to you, Josiah, I'm talking to everybody in there. I see Miss Joseph, I see other people on. Sometimes in your life, the season may last longer than you anticipated. And you in the beginning, and I can only talk about me. If anybody knows me, I don't mind being transparent. And if I'm gonna talk about anybody and I'm gonna tell on anybody, I'm gonna talk about myself and I'll tell on myself, right? And my thing is, I worship God good in the beginning, right? First 5 days, ain't nothing happened. First 10 days, okay, God, you so good. I love you. First 25 days, 35 days, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 30 years. Oh man, come on. Somebody. Now I don't even know if I'm praying about it anymore. Now I don't even know if I'm asking God about it no more. I don't know now if I've just become comfortable in my winter. I don't know if I've just become comfortable and complacent in being isolated, being in a dark place, not really knowing if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be going. Well, it has just now become part of my Christendom, my Christian walk, that has now become dull. It has now become dry because now it has become accustomed to not expect God to do it because I've been waiting so long. And so now I just don't expect it anymore. I've become comfortable. I flatlined in believing or wanting to expect or have that faith on a particular thing. And I need somebody to help me. Somebody talk to me. Josiah, is you here with me? Anybody, somebody, nobody, what the body? Yeah.
And that was a lot said. I would say because those seasons can come, and those seasons. I'm only 24 years old, so
Hey!
I haven't experienced as much as maybe some other people. But I think something that has helped me along my journey, especially with not being complacent. I think there's a difference between being complacent, and being content. Now, God tells us to be content in Him. And I think when complacency comes, that's when you, like you said, I guess if you're in an abusive relationship, you're gonna be complacent and go like, man, this is all I know. I've been here for so long. I'm gonna go back to what feels comfortable. And I think being content, the difference is that you're always expecting God to move no matter what or no matter how long it is. And I just think about Paul, like, man, Paul was a dog. I mean, for the, I guess, for the colloquialism of the younger generation, being a dog means like he went through a lot of stuff, but he's still like a champion,
Beast
yeah,
in
a
it.
beast at the end of the day. So Paul went through a lot of crazy things, a lot of crazy situations in his time, and probably outside looking in, if you were to look at it, like the man went to jail, he had rocks thrown at him, been flogged, he'd been beat up, been betrayed, all these things. So, man, if we looking at it, Paul probably was in a winter season for a very, very long time. But he was, and one of my favorite chapters, one of my favorite books in the Bible is Philippians 4. And
Come on, Philippians 4.
it talks about Paul being content no matter what situation he's in. Either he has a lot of money or he has no money. Either he's with a lot of people or he's by himself. He's finding contentment in Christ and not in the things of
Ah!
so, so I think just learning how to be content with the Lord now, that does not negate the feelings that you are going to go through.
Exactly.
Now, I think being content, people think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. No, when you're on this Christian walk, I think you're going to get thrown with haymakers because now you're number one on Satan's hit list. Now you're going to be in the ring with Mike Tyson. Before in Christ, you were out there just cheering and doing all the things of the world. But when you start walking this Christian walk, now you're going to be in the battlefield 24/7. Like the devil don't have no PTO. The devil don't take no time off. And we think we can be all good and all that. Like we think we got time and all this stuff, but the devil don't take no time off. I've been reading this one book. It's called Thoughts for Young Men, and it's like the aspect of young men like being in like not thinking or one they think they're going to live forever, so they have all the time and maybe at their
Invincible.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Another one is like we just don't know, and then another one is like we just walk around this world just complacent and just thinking like you said we can be invincible and everything. So those are like few things that God or that the devil can use to trap us, and definitely the mindset. I think that's a big piece. Just keeping on to that hope, and just one scripture that I don't know what verse it is exactly, but Pastor Rod, one of my pastors out in Nacogdoches, would always say this all the time. He said, "Morning may endureth for a night, but
Weeping.
or weeping.
Oh, morning. You
Weeping,
say morning.
like
I thought you
morning.
meant the morning.
Oh no, no,
The
no,
morning.
no, no,
The next morning. You
no.
meant morning
Morning.
like crying morning. Okay, yeah, morning. I got you.
May endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." So I think realizing like
That was the morning I thought you were
mm,
trying to say in the beginning.
yeah,
That morning.
yeah. So I think it's just realizing like even though your winter season may seem long, it may seem forever, just know that God's using it in a lot of ways. Like sometimes, sometimes you might, I don't know. When I'm thinking about like school, like as a kid, maybe you might have like flunk a class or something, but you're not going to be able to go to the next grade if you keep on failing that one test or keep on failing that thing. So maybe God's trying to show you or reveal some things to do that you may be failing continuously, so you won't be able to move on until you pass
Mm.
that one test.
So you stay in the
And
winter
finally,
longer than you needed to
yeah, yeah.
because you didn't learn the lesson in that season. And now that you said that, sometimes in that waiting period, that could be your time of school. That's the time when God's trying to school you, right? While you're waiting. And what we do while we're waiting is instead of listening to the teacher and trying to listen to the lesson or trying to find out, God, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to work out of me? What are you trying to put in me? We so busy moaning, groaning, whining, complaining about why he didn't do it. Why hasn't had it happen? I'm so depressed. I'm so sad. We want to put on social media. Today I'm crying, and then we're gonna put the emoji with all the tears coming down. Yo, whoa. I'm missing this one. Or I thought this would have happened. God didn't show up. or however, but maybe he is showing up in your winter season. You're just not learning from the losses, right? You're not learning the lesson in the midst of your pain. You're not learning the lesson maybe in the midst of your disappointment or your separation or whatever's going on that has caused this winter storm in your life. And for many of us, it could be a whole lot of things, like Josiah said, in college and things like that. Maybe I didn't get the internship that I needed for my degree, or I found out I'm not going to be graduating on time, or I found out I got to come out of school because my family don't have enough money, and I'm not on scholarship. Or, I mean, there's so many things, right? Or it's that puppy love, it's that new love, it's that heartbreak that takes place even when you're a young adult trying to navigate um just what is love, am I really in love, and then realizing maybe that doesn't last forever like you thought it would. What can help me keep my faith when the wait feels long? Yeah, that's kind of the question of the hour,
Mm,
when the spirit is asking you to worship while waiting, and you're like, but I've been waiting a long time, you know. And so you want to help that question out, Josiah? what
um,
what can help me keep my faith when the wait feels long? And I want to say this before you answer. I think that question is very, very good because, like I said, sometimes we start out strong, believing God for it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep speaking it, and I'm going to do my affirmations in the morning, and I'm going to dish them dead, and I'm going to read my word. And then after week two, after week three, the affirmations get a little less, the faith starts getting a little waning. Your excitement. Now you're not fasting. When I fasted 35 days, and I just knew God was gonna do it at 35, and I was on it, and I was waiting, and blah 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 blah. And then on day 35, it didn't happen. Even after the fast, even after you getting on the prayer call from 6 to 7 for the last 35 nights, and it still did not happen. Josiah, talk to the people. Talk to me. Honey.
mm. Um, I would say a few things, at least in my opinion, and what's probably helped me out. Um, is just keep on seeking the Lord. It sounds so cliche, but it's like, man, you got to go on that word because at the end of the day, your mom ain't gonna be able to help you. Your dad ain't gonna be able to help you. Your brothers or your sisters ain't gonna be able to help you. And sometimes maybe they be the ones that probably hurt you the most, or maybe some trauma that's happened. So you got to go to the Lord. And I think something that's definitely helped me out is just keep on reading my Bible, keep on praying, and being honest in my prayers, and kind of have like a
Mm,
that Job prayers, like, bro, I'm doing all the right stuff. I just don't know what's really going on. I don't know why I'm in this season. I don't know why I'm getting attacked and everything like that.
mm,
But knowing that you can be honest and transparent with the Lord and don't have to feel like you got to sugarcoat anything because He already knows everything. Like you being honest with God is not going to hurt His feelings at all. That's what He really wants at the end of the day. He wants us to be so close to Him and be intimate with Him. And sometimes being intimate with Him is just being vulnerable. And something that I just read recently is talking about Enoch, and it kind of like put my own faith in perspective. Like we barely know anything about Enoch in the Bible, but it says Enoch had a lot of great faith. He had such great faith that he was taken up off this earth and he didn't have to experience death. So I was like, and it just put it on perspective because it seemed like we don't know anything about what he did spiritually or his ministry walk here on earth, but we do know that he had great faith in that. It was very mentioned in that God was very pleased by his faith alone. And faith is the substance of things that we can't even see.
mm,
And and if we knew what the spring season would look like, and if we knew what the summer would look like, if we didn't have to experience the winter seasons, then we would really truly have faith in the Lord, though, if we already knew what was going to happen next. And I think that faith aspect, you just got to keep on believing in Christ in practical ways, is like I said, being intentional in prayer, being intentional in the Word, and having that community around you or somebody around you where you can voice your opinions, like godly counsel, not just anybody that would be like, oh yeah, do this, do that. But it's like, all right, what is God trying to tell you?
Right.
Where is God trying to lead you, and everything like that. And the same thing goes with like, I mean, I'm a football player, so the same thing goes with like working out and stuff. Like, shoot, the off season that could be a rough season for some people, for some athletes, because you got to train and build your body and work out and all this stuff like 3 or 4 months until you get back with everybody else. But if you're not doing the training, if you're not being disciplined, if you're not eating right, if you're not doing those things do show up when you come back to school and you got
Mm.
to go to fall training or summer workouts. And we're going to really see who's the one putting in the work, either getting better or they still in the staying the same, or they digress, which correlates to the story of the parable of the talents, because one had five, one had three, and one had one, or one had five, one had two, one had one.
Right.
And it's like, are you stewarding what you have right now well? And in the winter season, that's when you got to steward well, because the farmers, they got to plant, they still got to water, they still got to do all those things, no matter at the season. And then they want to see their harvest in the springtime and the summertime, but in the winter season, they still got to do those hard things and stay disciplined, because if not, they don't have any crops for the next season.
Mm. So in the winter, what you're saying is that's a good time to start harvesting the soil, start getting ready to plant seeds so that by the time the spring comes and by the time the summer comes, you have a harvest. So wintertime, we really not in the house twiddling our thumbs.
No.
I guess that's the time where, for us, if we're farmers, it would be the time to really start reading your word more. If you got to come in earlier because it's getting dark, this is a good time to start probably reading your word more. It's like reading a good book, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're going to start isolating, isolate with a purpose. I'm isolating because I want to pray more, and spend more time with the Lord. I'm going to build my relationship, my personal relationship, or my personal walk with the Lord in this time of isolation. We don't need to curse the darkness. We need to use the darkness in our favor.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one thing that I don't know, I'm always using football analogies, but you don't really learn from the successes, because I'm learning from my mom.
Yeah.
Even if I had a good game or anything like that, she like, all right, you had a good game, but what were the things you did wrong so we can learn from them? And I think the same thing correlates. It's like, man, sometimes if we're all on the highest mountaintop, or if we're living good, sometimes we even neglect God and like don't even go seek Him in that spaces. So sometimes
Mm.
God may wreck your whole life, turn your life upside down, just for you to realize like God is all I need. At the end of the day, Jesus is all I need. At the end of the day, I need him each and every day, because he's the living water. He's the bread of life. And without food and drink, most of us would probably die, unless you're just built different like that. But we need those things each and every day. And I think sometimes we forget the necessity of Jesus. And sometimes we might need that reminder. So maybe that's probably why we're in a longer winter season than most, or sometimes we maybe switch up might happen, or a random death comes out the blue, and it's like, bro, why is this stuff happening? Maybe it's just a wake up call to us, like Jesus is your source, and not these material things, or not these things
Mm.
on earth. So,
Mm.
so yeah,
Wow. And you said something too. Sometimes, I don't know if y'all remember that. Well, it's one of my favorite songs, but when whatever that dude name, Mariah Carey
I'll see love green.
and CeeLo Green sing it. But the thing is, it's cold outside, right? And she's like, I really must go. And he's like, no, stay, right? That's his big thing, no, stay. And he says, but it's cold outside. I'm thinking about God, in the winter season. He's like, no, don't go. Stay in with me. It's too cold outside. Stay in with me. Fellowship with me. Come by the fireplace with me. Let's drink some hot cocoa together. Let's go through the word together. Let me minister to you. You minister back to me. Let's hang out by the fireplace. That's what that whole song is about. Don't leave, right? Stay. And sometimes we're so much, and I'm just listening to about what you're saying, like, that winter time and learning those lessons and spending more time with God, that we're so much in a rush for the winter to go by, for the cold weather to go by. But God is saying it's in that time where you're not out with your friends now. You're not out at the vacation now. You're not out at the beach now. You're not at the Labor Day barbecue and the Memorial Day this and you're not all hustling and bustle. It's now time. And he's like, I really want you to stay. I really want you to come back in. I really don't want you to go. I really want you to stay here and talk to me. I really want you to stay in fellowship with me. I really want you to stay and go deeper in the word with me. I really want to reveal some things to you. I want to show you your next move. I want to show you your next purpose. I want to show you what I got planned for you. I want to show you what 2026 looks for you. I want to show you the map out. I want to show you the guide. I want to show you the layout, right? Jeremiah 29:11. I know the thoughts, the plans, the layout, the whole design. I know what I already got in mind in store for you. He was like, just sit still for a minute. Stay here, baby. Don't go. I think I want to play that now. Boom, boom. But anyway, yeah, I'm feeling that. Like even in that winter, God's saying, let's just drink some hot cocoa together. Let's sit in front of the fireplace together. Let's just cuddle and get cozy together because I'm not cozy with you like this in most other seasons of your life. And if we be truthful, Josiah, back me up. When we're in our worst frame of mind, when we're emotionally distressed and distraught, maybe from a broken relationship, or maybe not getting a job or the career or the thoughts and the plans that we had didn't go the way we thought. When we get in those modes and in those moods, and we've got that heartbreak, and we've got that pain, and we got that issue of blood, we tend to go to God a little bit more often, a little bit more sincere, a little bit more vulnerable, like you were saying, right? And so it's almost like him barging you in with the cold in the winter, in the blizzards, in the snowstorms, in the spirits. I'm not even talking about literally, like he might barricade you in so that he can spend more time with you, just you, not your friends, not your buddies, not your new lover, not your new girlfriend, not your new boyfriend, not your new whatever, whatever, because we're all looking for something, right? We're all looking for something to meet that need within us. But really, it's that God sized vacuum. Ah, una! It's that God sized vacuum. Only God can fill that space and that place. That I feel like even in our winter seasons, while we're waiting in the winter, He's filling up that space so that when it's time for us to go out and play, we got the practicing. We know the plays. We know the drills. We know what to do, coach. This, that, and the other. Only because before the season actually began to play football, we back to football. I had to be in that space where I couldn't come out. I couldn't go and do those things. I couldn't eat the French fries and the hamburgers. I had to be on a strong, strict regiment so that I'd be what I needed to be when it was time for me to hit the field. And for those of us that are walking this Christian walk, there's a purpose and there's a design in mind for each and every one of us. That when it's time for us to hit the field, we need to be ready. So we need to be soaking in all that we can during the winter when there's not a lot of noise, when there's not a lot of movement, when there's not a lot of activity and chatter, where there's a lot more quietness, where there's a lot more darkness, where there's a lot more solitude, where there's a lot more isolation. God's saying, take your winter season and make the most out of it because when the springtime comes, it's going to be time to spring forth, right? It's not going to be the time to say, oh, let me start getting in my word now. Oh, let me start preparing my messages now. No, now is not the time to get ready, right? With the squirrels. You should have already been packing nuts and squirreling down and getting stuff hidden. And so when the springtime came, you had more than enough to explode. You had more than enough to reap that harvest because you had been harvesting. You had been planting. I wish I had my other baby sister to tell us about that. You had been preparing the ground for the springtime harvest. So that's some good stuff. That was some good stuff. I got a lot out of it. So with that being said, Josiah, I want to close out. So give some closing remarks for the to the people. You know, a lot of people, one of the biggest things that I've realized is a lot of people are depressed, or they're lonely because they've lost loved ones. Now, can I tell y'all this? Right up to Christmas, people are still losing loved ones. I know people that have lost loved ones just last week, just last month. And so it's fresh for them that they're going to spend the holidays without their loved one. And not only losing a person through death, but you can lose a person through incarceration for a certain amount of time. You can lose a person because they just decide y'all had a falling out and we're just no longer friends. We're not no longer talking to each other. And maybe you weren't the one who was in agreement of the fallout. So now you're missing them and things of that nature. So there is a time where people are coming to the holidays, and we know there's supposed to be family time. It's supposed to be time with friends and sharing gifts, or maybe meeting at the local restaurant, or coming into, hey, Pastor Tawana, Lady D and Josiah. um People are grieving. Yeah, let me put it that way. People are grieving in this winter season. So how do we tell them still worship God while you're waiting for the grief to go away, or for the grief to even get better, or for the missing of your loved one to subside? Because there's that old cliche, time heals all wounds. Is that really so? So you got some closing remarks on and y'all drop your questions or your comments in the chat. We would love to. If we can't pick it up tonight, we'd love to pick it up at another time.
Closing remarks about.
Just the holidays coming up and people missing. Maybe it was a girlfriend you broke up with, or a boyfriend. I mean, people just are missing people more so. I find out people miss people more, or they think about people more that they don't have in their life more around the holidays.
Yeah. I guess my closing remark is that you're not alone. I think time and time again throughout the whole Bible, God reminds his people that he's with them, that he's always there by his side, that he's always going to be there to be a comforter, a provider, a father. I think sometimes we forget the names that and the titles that God has. And sometimes we try to go for comfort or for that father figure and other people, and other things, instead of going to our ultimate Father that can bring us that true peace and true hope and true joy and true happiness only found in Him. Um, so I think just knowing that even though you may be missing somebody, maybe someone has died, maybe relationship that didn't go through, maybe if they are alive but they weren't able to come down for the holidays, I think just realizing like God is still with me, God still loves me, God is still ever so close to me, so close that he can whisper into my ear, um, and just knowing that he's always near me and he's always present with me. I think that's just something that I've been meditating on and realizing like no matter where I am in life or wherever I am across the world, God is always there with me in my highest of mountains and also in the lowest of valleys, and he will lead me by still waters. So just knowing that he's there.
I like it. I like it when um you know when nobody else is there, or when you feel like, let me put it that way, nobody else is there. I think Josiah put it very, very well. God is always there. He said, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. And I'll say this: if you're in a winter season during this winter, if you're in a winter season, I want you to realize that you can go to God no matter what. And I think Josiah put it very well. You can be vulnerable. You can be transparent. There's nothing he don't already know. He knows your thoughts. He knows your intentions. He knows the hidden desires of your heart. Oh my God. You don't have to commit a sin to have already sinned in the heart. God already knows the heart. It said he doesn't look on the outer appearance of us, but God judges a man by the heart, right? And so it is no need to try to keep a secret from God. Oh my God, what kind of thought process is you working with? Ain't no secrets. when you come down. But there is oh man, I don't even know a word, but there is an elevation, there is a promotion, there is a satisfaction that God gets out of you coming to him with an open heart, a broken heart, a wounded heart, but also expressing that I need this and I need this, and I am in need of something, right? More than what I have, and I'm waiting on it, right? I need it. And I just feel like that we need to realize that God is there and he wants to listen to that. He wants to hear what I mean, like he can handle, I think Josiah said, he can handle your truth. Oh my God. He can handle your truth just as much as other people can. And I suggest you might not tell everybody it, but if it's deep down in them little dark secret holes of your heart, I would bear all in my prayer closet. I would bear all before the Father. I would tell him every stitch of every stinking thinking moment, every hurt, broken heartedness, even if I'm angry, mad, and spitting fire. Tell God about it. He's okay with it. I'm angry. David wrote the Psalms, and I'm going to shut it down from here. David wrote some of the Psalms. Excuse me. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for that correction. And he expressed his raw, truthful, unadulterated emotion down to the point where he said, kill all my goddamn enemies. Send them all to hell. Pop, 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 pop. Right? He said that. He was talking to God about that. I hate them. I want to see them go down. I want to see you do something hurtful and harmful to them. And he even gets to talking about, I'm envious, I'm jealous, looking at the wicked prospering. He expressed, I'm sad, my heart is heavy. I'm so sorry that I sinned against thee. He goes from a gamut. He has a gamut of emotions to go on to be the cruelest murderer of all times when all men killed, to being the saddest, most humblest person who realized that he has moved so far away from God that he's asking for mercy and kindness. He's not asking for a palace. He's not asking for another peasant. He's not asking for another concubine. He's asking for mercy and that God never take his presence away, right? And so if you gonna get real with anybody, you gonna have real talk with anybody, man, bye. God needs to become your bestest friend. Pastor Tawana said, take this time to allow God to fill those empty places. Yes, by creating a deeper devotion. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. All right. If anybody's got any comments or questions, Pastor Tawana, that was awesome. I see you, Vineyard Holiness Church, on with us on tonight as well. Let everybody know we'll be here every Tuesday. I know it's the Tuesday before Christmas. Everybody is out in the hustle and bustle. Hopefully, you'll watch the replay. Myself and my son, we got two different age generations going on here, right? And just realizing that the winter season comes for us all. It just comes looking a little different, right? What we might call a winter in our 50s and in our 60s, they're not calling that their winter in their 20s and in their 30s. But what they're calling in their 20s and 30s a winter, we're going, oh my God, please. That's lightweight stuff. But that's still their winter season. And I'm just very grateful and thankful that Josiah has learned to love the Lord for himself and to learn how to build a relationship with God for himself so that when he is in his winter season, that he knows not to call your mama, even though you can, not to call your daddy, even though you can, but to call on the Lord and see what God has to say for the matter. See how he can console you, how he wants to comfort you, how he wants to give you wisdom on how to come out of your winter season even sooner than you thought. All right. I love you guys. I'm Dr. Dietrich Cotton, your Better Life coach and cheerleader, right? How can you be the coach and the cheerleader? But yes, I am. I'm going to be your coach and I'm going to be your cheerleader. They do two different, totally different things throughout the process. And so I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. It's so much better when we take this journey together. I'm so glad that I was able to have my son with me on tonight to be one of my guests and talking about a topic. I'd love to have other guests to get on and our Better Together talks so we could just talk about those things that people really need to hear about in its raw essence, not in a colloquial guise of church and religion. People don't want to keep hearing that about, oh, just give it to God and let go and let God. Come on, lady. What does that look like? I'm not holding a rope. I'm just tired of waiting on God. Huh? Okay, I'm tired of waiting. When is it going to happen? When is it going to change? When are things going to get better, Miss Better Lady? So you got to learn to worship in the winter. And oh my God, keep worshiping while you're waiting. While you're waiting. Ah! I was about to say the scripture that you quoted and that is game out together. Okay, y'all can put a little laughy emoji in the thing for that. Now, because remember, we're not waiting while we're waiting. Okay, we're worshiping while we're waiting. And Josiah coined it. He said, "Weeping may endure for the night, for the season, but joy, oh my God, joy will come." That's a promise. The weeping is a may. Yeah, it could come, might not come. Could last long, might not last that long. But joy is a command to come. It's a promise to you that joy will come in the morning. All right. I love you guys. Next Tuesday, we'll be right here. Share it. Tell somebody to watch the replay. God bless you. Peace out. Bye bye.